welcome to this thing that I've started doing. I am going to begin reviewing movies on Letterboxd live. But, not live with a chat or anything, just kind of while I'm making the video. I'm going to start with Hurry Up Tomorrow, the weekend's debut movie. I don't know if he's in anything. Overall, I don't really have much of an opinion of the weekend. He doesn't really bother me. Although this movie did not really do anything to help the perception of him. Feel like I saw this on Tuesday. I could be wrong. But either way, regardless of how I feel about the movie, it was definitely one of the movies of all time. And then I ended up looking up the director, somebody Schulz, and his previous work was It Comes at Night, which was another movie that had a strong, I guess, opening. And it was one of A24's kind of first darlings, if I remember. Had a lot of buzz when it did come out, and I don't remember when that was. It was like 2016, 2015. But yeah, I didn't really get much out of it. It had a decent atmosphere, but it just didn't really do anything beyond that. But on to Hurry Up Tomorrow, which I saw last Wednesday during a quote-unquote fan event. Not that I'm particularly a fan, I just like seeing movies early. So let's start. The first problem with this film is that you spend the entire runtime thinking about other movies. Because there's a lot of influence here. Taken from... I don't like spoilers, so I'm going to try to stay away from spoilers in these reviews unless it turns out like people don't care. Then I will start to spoil things. In fact, there's a contained spoilers. I will not be checking that just this time. But yeah, the movie just kind of evokes feelings of other movies. There's like... It's trying to do... Yeah, in fact, it's trying to say something and trying to do something, but in the end, you are not left with, well, anything. It feels like a vanity project, and it doesn't really paint the weekend. Is it N? It's just ND, right? There's not There's not E there. In a positive light, like there's not really an arc for the main character here. It's strange though, because you would think that the movie is like trying to portray him in a particular light, but it's not until half of the movie where it kind of feels like the Weeknd might be playing himself. And generally, you would think that that's not really something somebody wants to do in a movie that doesn't make them look good. Um, and naturally, sometimes it does work, but unfortunately, in this case, you don't get anything out of it. Um, in fact, that'll probably be my last line here is the movie ends and it feels like no one has grown or learned anything. Kind of feels like an excuse to showcase a new song. And strangely enough, some of his other music is showcased here, but naturally it's the hits. Um, and it doesn't feel it feels half baked. It all feels half baked. Like there are some ideas, there is some decent atmosphere, in some of the setups. Yeah. However, none of it really feels like it culminates to anything of any I don't want to say worth, to something that amounts to anything, I guess I'll go with. Yeah. I don't know why I did that. So, I'm generally not, haven't been, I'm sorry. Well, I haven't been a big fan of Jenna Ortega, because I think that when she was cast as Wednesday, it wasn't really a good idea. But then since that, they keep casting her as kind of like an alty kind of goth ish type of person, and it doesn't fit. I remember in Beetlejuice, um, that was her kind of thing, and in Death of a Unicorn, she was also like kind of like a young alti activist type, and in both cases, it didn't fit her. There's something about her to me that comes off as, I don't know. She seems more of like a standard pretty girl that you would cast. Not to say that she's like not pretty, or not to say that she's like only looks, because I think she can act. Um, I don't consider her to be anything amazing, but it's all serviceable. Um, and in this film, uh, Jenna Ortega is cast properly, I feel. Um, yeah, she has, um, she's able to show uh, multiple sides of personalities throughout the film. Um, many of them endearing. It's supposed to be throughout. Yeah. It's not enough though. As The Weeknd's acting is so-so, but the script is pretty flat, especially once you start to understand what's really going on. Yeah, I don't really, I can't say too much more without going into spoiler territory. And since this is kind of an inaugural video, I will probably not go into that and just kind of leave it where we are now. The movie doesn't really do anything. If you've seen It Comes at Night, then you kind of got the idea of where the tone or atmosphere of the film is going. There's really only a couple what I would consider decent moments in there, but other than that, it's like a strange vanity project that doesn't really paint The Weeknd in a good light. Like if this movie didn't come out, it wouldn't have changed anything. And even it coming out, I'm going to assume that most people aren't really going to care, or if they were fans of The Weeknd, they probably still won't care. Like, at the end of the day, no one's going to be clamoring for another Weeknd movie, I think. And I don't think this is a good launch into an acting career if that's where this is going. There could be a whole lot behind this that I don't know, but that doesn't really help it, because if you have to know a lot about like why the movie is the way it is or what they were trying to do before you watch it to make the movie decent, it doesn't help the movie be a good movie. But yeah, I think I'll just kind of leave it at that. The tags are, let's go with The Weeknd. Let's go with meh. We got Jenna Ortega. Yeah. It's pretty flat. I'll give it like 1.5. Kind of want to give it 2 stars just because. Oh, you know what? No. I do have one other thing to mention. This isn't a spoiler, but it is something that is like heavily distracting. The majority of this film is shot in close-ups, like a ton of close-ups. It starts and ends with a close-up. It's a lot, and I'm not gonna write this in the review, but like The Weeknd's always wet. He's like always sweaty, and then there's a part with rain, so obviously he's wet, but like he's wet throughout the entire movie. Which is also kind of strange, especially because everything is shot in a close-up. Yeah, it's a lot, like an uncomfortable amount of close-ups, to where like there are so many that I breathed a sigh of relief every time the camera pulled back, which wasn't often. Yeah, I don't know. I can't recommend this. Not even if you're high. Because then you'd just be laughing at it. Like, part of the time. The other part of your watch through will just be boredom. Yeah, it's not getting a heart, definitely. Yeah, I can't give it more than 1.5 stars. It's just... yeah, I don't know what they're doing. But you know what? On to the next one, right? Thanks for sitting through this first one, and I'll see you in the next one.